Hey everybody, so glad you guys are jumping on. I am excited to talk to you about stuff that will get people's attention. So, um, a couple of things just to know is, and that we've actually been talking about, and Jana did some training last week on, is social media and your pillars. So, how many of you guys know what a pillar is? And you know a few things about social media. Raise your hand if you know a little bit about what a pillar is. Okay, I see a few hands. So I thought I would take a few minutes just to touch on what is important when you are trying to attract people to you when it comes down to social media. Because if you're like me, you probably don't want to be out there and spamming a bunch of people. You would love it if people would come to you and you can get in conversations with them. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about tonight is how to actually hook them and what to say to them to maybe get them interested and then giving some call to action. But before we get into that, I wanted to touch quickly on what it would be like to give a pillar. So Janice spoke to this a little bit last week, and there is a great recording out there. So if you want that recording, it's like under 5 minutes. We're actually putting into our launch to help new partners that we are getting started understand that a little more in depth. But I thought I would touch on it also because it's important that you keep a healthy mix of things that you stand for. That could be values, that could be things that you love, that could be things that will maybe you have a special perspective on. What that does is that allows for people to get to know you. And when you're authentic out there and you are talking to people, then when they know, like, and trust you, they're going to get into conversations with you and ideally buy from you. And so social media and social selling is really where you are talking to people about things that matter to you. But one of those things ideally would be around Singular, which overall Singular is nutritional wellness, but we have our gut health, we have our energy and performance, we have our weight loss, and we have our mood and it's like mood and hormone support. Okay. So make sure that you kind of keep those things in mind. Like one of those things should be a pillar of yours. But then other things are the things that make up you. Think about your life carefully. Decide actually what defines you and fill in some blanks. Ideally, you want 3 to 5 things, singular being one of them. So keep that in mind. But what are things that you talk about with ease? What are things that naturally you're maybe obsessed with? A lot of you guys might think of me as somebody that does horses, right? Horses is a big part of our life. It's always been something that's about a part of me, being a cowgirl. So that is a pillar of mine, and that's something that I can talk to people about with ease, and I can involve people in my life. Other things might be you like to cook. Maybe you don't like to cook. That could be something. Maybe love dogs, and maybe it's not just a dog, maybe it's wiener dogs, right? We all know who loves wiener dogs on here, right? So think about things that really stand out to you, that then those are things that you're going to connect with your audience on. And one thing that is important is when you are talking about one of your pillars, you may want to avoid certain topics too, right? But you also want to have fun with it. So you want to talk about things that are going to maybe be around what you're doing for a happening, like what's happening currently in your life. And I'm going to I had written some notes for you. So something that, would be that is happening in your life would be something that is like a scene. Share with something that recently happened. One thing that we've seen really recently in social media is that people want to know how you are doing something, right? So they want to hear from you, not just a valuable tip like get your protein in by eating, 100 grams of protein a day, and this is what I eat. they want to know, okay, what is it that you're eating? When are you eating it? Those kind of things. So don't just say a valuable tip to lose weight is to get 100 grams of protein in. That's valuable, but tell them how you do it. I have a 20-gram protein shake in the morning. I have, 20 grams of protein, things like that. So actually go into what you are doing and give them a little bit of a behind the scenes of something that's happening for you. And that's really important when you are sharing part of your life that's going to come across with some of your authentic. So I wanted to touch a little bit on that first when we're talking about social media. If you guys don't already have, we do have a social media basically playbook. And if you don't have that playbook and you want to get it, let us know so we can get that into your hands, because that's going to be really important for you to kind of just take a little bit of look as to what are your specific pillars. What are the things that you can use to stand out? And so that leads me into the next thing, because everybody has something that they can provide. You were created, there is only one of you. You are the only you that there is out there. You're the only you with your genetic makeup. You're the only you that has, what you specifically stand for. Even if you have a brother or sister, or even if you have a twin, you have something different in your heart that you stand for. So just know that you do have things to provide and to add value with. So I'm going to jump into some of the important things when it comes to putting your social media together. So you identify your pillars, find out things that you really stand for, Zingler being one of them, right? And it could be any of the things like I mentioned. It doesn't have to be specifically weight loss. I will tell you my help statement is I help busy moms who want to lose weight effortlessly with not a lot of crazy dieting or exercise. And that's because of my injuries. Like I can't go out there and do a lot of crazy exercise. And I love to eat, but I don't love to cook. So to me, a diet can't be too strenuous. Okay. So that's my I help statement. You're going to have an I help statement too. And it should line up with some of your pillars. So think about what those are. If you need to grab the workbook, we do have a workbook, a playbook. So just make sure. I see Laura says that she wants the social media playbook. So we'll make sure and get that for you. And what's really nice is there's actually a section in there where you can write out some of the things that you stand for and then get with your specific sponsor or upline and let them help you identify things that you can work around when it comes to your pillars. And so I'm going to share with you the next part, which is hooks. So when you are on social media, and it doesn't matter if you're doing reels, which are video content, right? Short form video is what a reel is. Generally, it's 90 seconds or less. Or if you're doing a live video, or if you're in, one thing Robin talked about last night is when you are doing live videos, you don't want to just be on there for a short few minutes. Ideally, what's getting a lot of views right now is a longer live. And I was actually watching another social media expert and marketer who is from Minnesota. I know there's a lot of girls on our team right now. They're from Minnesota. And you guys, most of her lives are 45 minutes to an hour. And she talks about all kinds of different topics, but it's generally based around a get ready with me or a get unready with me type thing, right? And she's just talking to you while she's doing things. So think about with Zingular, we do help people when it comes to prepping their food or making a recipe or things like that. So think about things that you could walk through with people and actually be on there a little bit longer to get people hooked in. But the hook is the very first thing that you say. And even in your posts, you should have something that is a hook to get people excited. Storytelling is part of your hook. And so you want to tell a story when you are actually getting people to raise their hand. And I put together a few different options for you guys that you can use to grab people's attention. Of course, my hooks are going to be based around my target audience, which I already gave you my I help statement. busy moms looking to lose weight effortlessly without a lot of crazy diet and exercise. Okay. Yours is going to be a little different. So you may want to take the framework that I've given you guys, and there are some places where there's blanks and you can fill in the blank for your target market or your audience. So just keep that in mind. But a hook is an attention grabber. It's usually within the first few seconds that people are reading it or seeing it. It's usually needs to be up there within the first 3 to 5 seconds. So an example of this would be, let's say that I'm an Instagram coach and I'm teaching somebody about Instagram and putting their profile together and optimizing it so that it is an attention grabber to somebody. What sounds better to you guys? Okay, listen to this. Let's just say that in my caption, because my reel is explaining specific things that I just said, make sure you change these things in your profile. Make sure you change these things. That was my hook. See how that kind of, make sure you change these things. Or does it sound better if I say for the hook, what if I told you missing this on your profile could be losing you followers? Okay. See how that hooks them in a little bit more? It's a what if statement. So instead of just saying, make sure you change these things, and I will tell you guys, I am just learning and using hooks more regularly. And I have been doing a tip thing that says, one thing I did was, the one thing I did was has not gotten me as much attraction as when I say, one thing I did to lose 30 pounds was. Do you see the difference? And that's because it's my target audience, right? The 30 pounds is getting them. So there's a few things that you just need to tweak a little bit to get that hook. Also, it's grabbing their attention, and you can utilize a hook then into your caption. So the hook is generally the first 3 to 5 seconds. If you're doing a video or a reel, it might be, or a live, it might be just the first thing that's said. When you do a live and you actually type out, you have like only a certain number of characters you can do. So that is generally your hook when you're live. A lot of times it could even be something as short as listen up or stop the scroll, or you've got to know this, or tune in to hear about this, right? But if you put the extra little bit of information there, it's going to really hook them in. So if you want viral content or information, use a hook. Second thing is focus on the pain points of your audience. You want to speak directly to your specific audience's problems. You want to show them how your service or your product will help them. And so you've got to make sure that you are bringing those pain points to the forefront. So a good caption starter would be something like, struggling to stay consistent with your Instagram posting? Let me share these 3 easy tips to improve right now. So see how it was a little bit of a hook, but a caption. Hey, are you struggling to be consistent? The caption should tell the story about the post, about your brand, your journey. It's going to be a specific moment related to your business, because stories are actually what connect you with your audience emotionally. Everybody has a story, and generally your story could even be something simple that you did for the day. You're a busy mom, you're needing to get your extra protein in today. Maybe you're having a hard time staying focused. Well, guess what? You can share your story about what you did to help you with your focus. What you did to help you with maybe staying consistent on your eating plan that day. Maybe we didn't have time to meal prep, but maybe you went by the store and you grabbed the pre-made hard-boiled eggs that were there, or something that's simple that you did, but that story is telling. So another thing could be a story is you can talk about pain points of, you were maybe terrified to post your first live or post your first reel, but you went ahead and did it. And then now look at what's happened. You've touched XYZ many more people, right? So keep that in the forefront of what you're doing when it comes to utilizing a hook and utilizing a caption. And then the third thing is having a call to action. And your call to action doesn't always have to be join me or buy my thing, or your call to action can just be for somebody to agree with you. Your call to action can just be for a thank you. Your call to action can just be for them to follow along. Your call to action can be for them to grab something free that you offer, even if it's your free group. Right now, we have a free group where we're coaching an 8-day. That could be, hey, if you want to be in my free group, comment free. That could be the call to action. It doesn't always have to be around something that they are needing to do. So today I'll give you an example of what I did on my Instagram. And if you guys wanted to jump over, you can find it on Instagram. And mine goes also to Facebook. So you can look at Melissa Corbin and you can look at my Facebook or my Instagram. Let me pull it up. Because I utilized a call to action, and a hook and a call to action. And so this one's for the procrastinators. That's more of my hook, right? So that's another part of my brain. I am not somebody who plans everything ahead of time. Okay. Kelly can tell you that. But I tend to be a procrastinator. So I talked a little bit about that was my hook. But then my call to action was, if you could feel one way every day, what would it be? Share below. That was my call to action. I just was wanting them to engage. If you want viral content, you've got to have something that people will engage with. That's what gets pushed out into Facebook world. That what gets pushed out into Instagram is the stuff that people are sharing, the stuff that people are liking and commenting, they're engaging with. That's what gets pushed out there faster. So it's important for you to do that. Now, a couple of other ideas and that I wanted to touch on is that you can utilize different things when it comes to trying to push your content out there with that Instagram or Facebook offer when you are creating your stories also. Remember, you don't just have to utilize posts. Posts go on your Facebook wall, your reels, they go on your wall, but you can also utilize stories, and you can do polls to find out maybe what your audience is or what they like. You can utilize questions. Those things are the stickers that they offer for you to do on your Instagram or your Facebook. And if you guys needed help trying to find those, we'll take some questions at the end and I can share my screen and maybe show some of that for you guys. A couple of other things that I think are going to be important for you is that when you are utilizing a caption right now, if you're telling a story, it can be a longer caption. But if you are really wanting to just get people to engage, it needs to be a shorter caption. So a couple of options would be that you guys could say, if you're trying to talk about a happening, something that's a little behind the scenes or something that recently happened that maybe somebody can relate to you and they can feel what it's like to work with you or utilize a product that you have, is on the screen, you could say something like, I wish I knew more blank, and that you can fill in the blank, people, families, business owners, whatever you're looking for, you're targeting. I wish I knew more busy moms, right? Knew that blank, what was it that launched or that you're utilizing? You could say something like, how people do this. So I wish more busy moms knew that my supplement XR2, right, just made my life so much easier because I didn't scream at my kids when they weren't doing their homework. Okay. And can anybody relate? Right. So then you're doing a call to action. If you're saying something like, can you relate? Do you understand? Right. A short version then for your caption could be something like, I help busy moms that are on the go all the time to make sure that they are ready for the day because I help them with natural supplements. Here's what you need to know about following me. I'm not a perfect mom. I still sometimes yell at my kids, but XR2 really helps, right? Something like that. So you still have you have your on the screen text in your reel or in your story, but then in a caption, you're going to put a little bit more details. So that's something I wanted to share with you guys a little bit more. And of course, your call to action would be based off them just trying to get either engagement, trying to get them to raise their hand, agree with you, join your group, follow for more, things like that. So I see a couple of people commenting that they want the playbook. I do want to answer any questions that you guys might have and maybe even show you some things. I will tell you that social media and communicating with people is just an additional way to really get your information out there and find people. You heard Jana mention last week when we were doing our boot camp and talking about sharing, talking about visibility, talking about engagement, talking about follow-up, which are the basics that you should be doing every single day when you are on your social media. You heard her also say that even though she and I knew each other outside of social media, we were, co-workers and worked together for a few years, she would not have seen what I was doing if it weren't for social media. So just remember, you being out there, you being present, you posting consistently, you sharing things, you never know who's going to see it and going to raise their hand that they want information. And of course, you're going to have to make sure that you follow up and but that's going to be important for you. So we'll definitely get these playbooks out there. I will try to go back through the comments on the recorded Zoom and see it, but also message me or message your direct upline and let them know that you want to get one of these playbooks. They are also available if you are involved with our business already, and you're on the Robin's Extreme Team Facebook page. She does have a post there where you can snag one. I was talking to her about it earlier last week, and it was before her wedding though, and Tennessee was trying to she was trying to get all that stuff done. So she will have those available though if you want to get them and get that printed, we can get it to you. So does anybody want to unmute and ask questions? I am here to give you guys some direction and help you with some of your ideas when it comes to utilizing your pillars, utilizing hooks, utilizing captions, or call to actions. Does anyone have any questions? All righty. Well, I can see that we have some really good, like even if you were to take a picture right now, like Navesha, I see you have your little guy with you. That's like that speaks to my busy mom heart, right? So you never know who's out there. So take it. Well, I could have never taken my kids to work at the bank and done a Zoom like this and poured into other people that I worked with, other coworkers, other women. And so that just makes me remember when I used to have to sneak my kids into work so I could get things done, and I would make them play under my desk. Now I don't have to do that. So, does anyone else have any questions, anything like that? I see we're gonna get Delphi, Shelly, Susie, Laura, a playbook. So we'll make sure and get you guys those. And don't wait for the playbook to go ahead and start thinking about what are some of the values and things that you stand for. And if you need help, reach out to your upline, they can help you. There are other assistants, we talked a little bit about it last week with like Chat GTP or some different things like that. But I will tell you that when you know what your target audience is and you can start speaking to that, you're going to find the right people. And even if they're not maybe your target audience right now, because we do offer so many other things, you can lean on one of your other partners, for something else. Like today, I put Freddie I have a new partner that's a guy, and I put Freddie in his chat because they're going to talk more about the energy and performance, which isn't necessarily my target market, but he sees the value of doing a business that attracts women, right? Because he's already in a market like that works with other gals. So very exciting. Okay. I think that's all I had for tonight. You guys are welcome. Hopefully it helps. I know it's a lot to digest when it comes to social media and what to do, but the important thing is just do it. Don't wait, just do it. And you're going to get better and better the more you use it. So, all right, you guys have a fantastic night.